Welcome to Event-Vods. Watch the full game from NLC Spring Playoffs 2025.
Actually follow Velia and up versus Velia on this new meta as well. Remember, those boots that LR have been using non-stop are no longer in effect, and they have to transition into something else. As they're being removed, we know that Nemesis has been using that non-stop, and Maokai as well.
And Gwen being removed as well. It's funny how we see some changes to Gwen over and over, but she's still the strongest and the scariest champion. So my prediction is going to be we're not going to see Gwen getting played today because it's a crime to let her slip through the draft.
The one thing that I'm looking at right here, I have seen B1 Lucians over in the LPL, and I'm looking at Kobe and Wendell down the bot lane. Again, we said how they want to have a more of a dominant bot lane versus Crowny and Reckless, and I'm wondering if right here, with all the OPs open, like the Nafiris and the Rumbles being open, if they actually might prioritize something like this. The Sion as well, a pretty good takeaway out here from Baus.
Yeah, and a pretty good pickup for Doxy as well. Just overall safe pick for the team, and overall a very safe first pick to open up the team. We still don't know anything about Venomcrest are going to go into, but things are like Gragas are still available for Baus. I would say taking away the Sion doesn't necessarily, or at least shouldn't necessarily hurt him too much here.
This is going to be the classic Xin Zhao Talia, or it could be Vi Talia.
Yeah.
Just not Vi Oriana. I'm just saying.
Maybe. Because we've seen that already, and that did not end well. And that was game 1 as well in the previous series. So yeah, maybe anything else. Ari would do very fine here as well, just fishing for more duo scenarios for Vi here. But no, we completed each was going to be on the mid lane, and we go with Volibear.
Immovable Mountain versus Unstoppable Force. Okay, I do really like this. It's going to be two Titans over on the top side of the map. One a little bit tankier than the other. However, Baus on that Volibear top lane can actually really scramble with the Sion over in the early game. So they could potentially look for that. Now, the setup might be coming through for Kobe and Wendell on this Jhin. I'm not sure I'm the hugest fan right here with things like Misfortune and Lucian and all that stuff still being in there, but
it's a statement. They already got the Sion as the first pick. Now they're also taking away Crowny's most played champion throughout this split. Venomcrest at least are showing that they have done their homework thoroughly, and they're taking Gragas away right now as well. Like, this is the Los Ratones picks taken by the other side.
But you don't need to take Gragas. Like, Baus has already
That's
picked.
Another question.
This is most likely a jungle Gragas. I'm taking it for Gooby right here to play into the Vi. And as the Kai'Sa gets locked in on the other side, I'm hoping to see a Nico ban from the set of Venomcrest. Again, Nico really does disguise the fact that Kai'Sa is a very strong range carry with not much wave clear, does struggle in lanes, that stat checker like the Jeans, the Misfortunes, the Viruses and all that. So I'd like to see a Venomcrest ban on that regard.
It feels like, I don't know if you're getting the feel that I'm feeling right now, but it feels like Venomcrest maybe are not necessarily looking into the first game as the game that they win and secure, you know, they potentially going further into the series. But the game is that, yes, they might lose it, but at least they're making sure that the potential picks for Los Ratones are getting shrunk, because they're either botting out or taking away all the picks for Los Ratones, and then Los Ratones are going into what we've seen them pivoting as their second bests throughout the split already, with like Kai'Sa, for example, for Crowny has been the second pick pretty much always after Jhin if it's not available. So I don't know if there's some mind games here, if I'm reading too deep into that.
We've seen that before.
You broke the draft. Great, Arsha. Thank you.
Salani!
No, you. It's not you. It's on Arsha.
Oh, okay.
I'll take it. Also, I was wondering, like, don't you take the rail as soon as possible? That Gragas was actually confusing into my mind, but apparently Jamada called the Gragas pick on the caster's desk. So when I throw to casters, I don't want to hear initialize. I just want to hear Jamada shed some light into this. Initialize, you're banned. You're banned from communicating until Jamada explains this. I need more info. So we're still waiting for any information regarding what happened during the draft, so we can restart the draft. And apparently the picks should be as they were picked. The bans, we still need some information. And yeah, it's being remade. Okay. As soon as I have more information, I'll relay about it. Don't worry. But it's interesting when you go into these picks and you're taking away picks from Baus on game 1. But are you comfortable playing those sort of picks and into the composition that you're picking as well? what is the synergy between those champions? And when you see the Volibear and the Vi as well, I still think both of them are kind of flexing on each other, because you know Vi can go into the top lane. So yeah, but tell me.
I mean,
okay.
As a reminder, we have Sion, Gragas, Jin over on blue side, which is Venomcrest, and then we've got Vi, Kai'Sa, and Volibear for Los Ratones on red side. I think left side for Venomcrest is really showing me that they want to set up for the bigger picture right here. Like, Jin is pretty much a setup champion that really likes to take control over in laning phase and the setup for his entire team. I'd like to see something a little bit more aggro, potentially even like a Yone in the mid lane for Niter. I feel like it fits the bill right here, and together with Gragas, it can really be a formidable mid-jungle duo. You also have Sion over in the top lane that really can set up for you, but you just need dive champions if you have Jin in your composition.
We had Nautilus banned as a last ban, right? So we still haven't had Rel banned, I believe, or anything. That feels like it could be, the final missing link for the team, especially since we've seen how crazy Vendel is on that champion, how crazy he is on his aggressive engages. That looks like it should be the composition for Venomcrest.
Yeah, that should wrap it up nicely. And if you bring in the Yone in the mid lane or anything that brings AD into the table, it will pair up with the Gragas, but Gragas will be kind of squishier during the jungle now. So is that like an opening for Valia to try and be annoying? If he plays the Vi, I'm still not 100% sure that Vi is going to be on Valia.
It could be a swap. It could be swap. It could be
Yeah.
Volibear jungle and Vi top. But I just fail to see how happy a Vi would be playing into full armor Sion, I don't know.
Not happy?
Percentage damage, it's boss. It's boss. I never judge him. I just accept. I'm like, boss, you know it. You're the Messi. You do you. So yeah, the information is that Nautilus is still banned. It's just on the ban on red side that is being redone. As you can see, the champions are still there, and as soon as we can, we'll fill out Gooby and Niter, which is Gragas and the Jin. We were taking some hits on the champion pool for support. So what do you pair this Kai'Sa with? What would be the idea with this Kai'Sa for Reckless? If there's a rel onto Venomcrest, or do you take it away?
Cole.
What a lot.
Cole.
Nico?
Cole. Filling the gaps.
What is happening, trouble?
Yeah, I said N, gap, Cole. Wait.
That's double E, not double N.
No, I said N, gap, Cole. You have to fill in the...
She was talking
gaps.
Stitch,
It's kind of like the ban X, but there's no ban. Like the A is missing, Come on, you guys. Like league memes. Okay.
So yeah, Nico comes in and into the mid. Just try to get some clairvoyance on this one for Nemesis, because the Azir is banned. We know he can play pretty much anything. You also talked about the Talia and how interesting that would be. It kind of stops Gragas at its tracks when he wants to engage. With that body slam, you have to use the casket to get some originality. Tell me something.
Honestly, considering that we don't only have Vi, but also Volibear, would an Orianna for Nemesis make more sense on the mid lane? That's a question to Trouble, because you have a lot of thoughts about Orianna and Vi usually. So would adding Volibear here change anything?
I actually am a huge, not big fan of Orianna, especially with this like Sion and Gragas. I think she's going to struggle really massively here, unfortunately. I think there's two routes you can go about. You either pair it up with Talia, which has been banned out right here. You either pair up a super strong mid-jungle duo, or you play with aerial support for Vi in terms of having the Hui. However, knowing Nemesis, his Azir has been taken away. You could also go towards the route of a Syndra, right? And play for Syndra Vi or Syndra Volibear, whichever one it is. I feel like a very strong mid-jungle duo is going to be huge for the set of Los Ratones. You blind pick your mid lane right here, and then you are 5-year support. Unless you're really sure. Okay, it's not the Nico, it's gonna be the Rakan. Okay.
It's comfort for Reckless. It's still, to me, it still works here as well because you want to have additional engage on your support here. And on top of that, with Rel banned out, you want to take out Rakan away from Vendel because first of all, it's now the champion that Vendel pilots really well. It still suits with his general preferred playstyle, and it would have worked with the team as well. But if they go Galio, that's pretty much another answer. That's another boss champion, by the way.
That's another boss champion. What? How did you just
this is clever. This is clever. In game 1 of a best of 5 to take all 4 of his champions out is so clever, okay?
Yeah.
However, I'm going to say this is a very, 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 very low damage Venomcrest. There's a lot of tanking.
Wait, that's all? That's all? Why'd you take them all? Oh!
Wait, is it really all of them? Wait.
You
I don't
wanted
think
a
it's
content
all,
game?
but-
You're getting a content game. There it is. 4 out of 5
No, he
champions
also
pick
played
here.
Poppy and Cho'Gath. Okay, that's almost all of them though. Damn. I'm telling you, mind games from Venomcrest. That's what we're going for in game 1.
They're actually doing it. We've heard the tales, but they're actually... Nemesis on Swain as well. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you look into those champions and all you see is like their close range. Swain is a happy individual.
He's a very happy individual here. They all want to be engaging into it except for Jhin. But like, you will have everybody else to deal with Jhin if you want to. You just want to have all of them coming at you and give them some very friendly Raven hugs because you are going to be having them in control, especially if relay happens as early as possible. That's going to be a really problematic team fight for Venomcrest every time they want to engage in one.
I don't know, man. I'm
Wow.
so confused on both sides right here. I somehow see Los Ratones diving in, but then there's a random Swain who doesn't really dive.
Yeah.
He's sort of like a protector around his AD carry. He's like a brick wall. But then Venomcrest, I'm throwing my hands up right here for Venomcrest. I just think this is like a content game. Take all Bowser's champions out and then take them on the reverse sweep. Like, good for you, man. Like, I mean, that's a strat. You have 5 games. You have 5. That's a strat.
Yeah,
Good for them.
how deep is Bao's champion pool in general? Not much anymore.
Let's find out. Let's find out on game 2 for game 1. Good luck, casters. They cooked.
Welcome everybody to one of our lower bracket. I think we're in round 3. I don't normally take the tosses here from desk, but I'm doing it because Archerum demanded it. I'm Jamada. I'm going to be joined here by Initialize this fine evening for what is hopefully going to be a very exciting series of League of Legends. Some very funny drafts to talk about. Now, I'm here on command of purely the Gragas. I called out the Gragas, as Archerum alluded to on the desk, because I thought it was an okay champion to not only take away from Bowser's champion pool, but also into Vi and Volibear in isolation looked great. What I didn't account for was that Venomcrest were gonna finally do the take all of one player's champions away strat in this game on a Fearless, which Initialize, in your defense, not even defense really, your call, you called it actually as well.
I did.
Up there too.
Because like I won't. This was about 3-4 months ago, so this was in Winter Split. But I remember chatting with some players, and there was some legit thoughts coming into LR series by saying, "Well, what if we just pick 5 Baus champions in game 1 in the Fearless? Well, what happens in games 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, game 1 will be a bit weird, but I actually think." Yes, it's a bit of an awkward draft, but I think it's a playable one for Venomcrest. And this has seriously diminished Baus' champion pool now. And hell, LR have picked a flex for Baus and the fact they've got the Vi and the Volibear too, so they've not helped themselves either.
No, they've not. I mean, you know, in total here, we're looking at 6 champions out of Bowser's champion pool from game 1. Which, I mean, hell, what does that leave? Cho'Gath? Quinn? You know,
Poppy, maybe?
Poppy,
I suppose is an option.
yeah, like it's not a deep pool to say the least anymore. So we'll see how this game, you know, unfolds to be correct about it. As you can see right now, Invade going on from Venomcrest, and they're sticking around for a long time too.
Yeah, they have stuck around fairly long. Are they going to try and split the map here as well? Might be a potential angle. There is that ward from LR on the blue buff, so they've had an idea about what's going on. It does like currently Velia's not that interested in defending his own jungle. He's going to start on his own Raptors.
Yep, that he is. We'll see where Velia goes. This is... I mean, they're going to do the Scion strat on top of this. This is
Oh, they are.
fantastic.
This is so prep.
This is great prep from Venomcrest. Okay, so Faust is going to be left alone, obviously, in isolation. They're going to 3-camp, presumably into dive, and allow Naya to just die. So Doxy is going to be laning mid for the time being, into this Swain. And we'll see how this one unfolds. I mean, Kai'Sa, Rakan, not exactly the best defenders of a dive at level 1.
No, I mean, you're going to need at least level 2 to give Reckless access to a Grand Entrance or a Battle Dance or something. And Crowny, sure, he's got a cleanse, but he's not going to have any upgrades to any of his abilities, so he can supercharge all he wants. He's not turning invisible or anything. I think this is going to be a very scary dive indeed. Nita will be the one who is tasked with tanking this, you have to imagine. Level 2's elsewhere. Crowny immediately flash. There's the Shield of Duran. Double taunt. First blood does go the way of the Kai'Sa. Wendell does end up getting traded as well. This has got a bit messy now for Venomcrest. Can they get Reckless? Well, I don't think so. With the heat up of the tower, we'll get one back, but somehow... They still get 3 kills first. I have seen better Scion dives in my time.
Yeah, I have 2. Look, dive, 2 kills went over to Crowny. I don't know how good this was anymore. You know, like I could commend Venomcrest for the prep at the very least, though. This has been a very, very creative first 3 minutes of the game. We'll see where the rest of the Venomcrest players end up lining up, trying to threaten Nemesis to blow a flash, but he's a little bit too far back, and he's very, very safe. But man, Venomcrest coming out game 1 swinging, right? Draft plan prepped, level 1 plan also prepped. It has allowed Baus to gain a substantial amount of freedom up here, up in the top side, and we'll see if this level discrepancy between himself and Niter is going to amount to anything as the game progresses.
We'll keep our eyes on it. He does get to a bit of his patented proxy farming. He does love to do that. A little ironic, unfortunately, that the Singe doesn't seem to be working out for him so far in solo queue. Maybe that has to come out at some point now with the madness that's going on. Also worth calling out that some of these champions has ended up in some slightly unusual locations, like the Jax is mid. For some reason, the Scion has now gone top, though it's Niter playing it. It's the Galio support, not like the Gragas support, which we mused might be an option. So yes, the champions are a little bit odd as well, and clearly designed to mess with Baus' champion pool, but the roles in which they're being played, with the exception of the Jhin, also perhaps a little bit of an eyebrow raise on the whole.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it operates, because it's a very curious one. Doxy is now going to go up into the top side and match Baus, which I think is probably for the better, just stat-wise and also matchup-wise. But hello!
Oh, nice.
Gank to the bot lane. It's fantastic.
Gorgeous. Yeah, they get the taunt again. Wendell landing those shielded rounds, gets the Kai'Sa down. Short, she did pick up 2 kills in that dive, and that's great news, but dropping another wave here, continue to be denied experience. Venomcrest game plan is very obvious, and LR currently not able to do that much about it.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't really too much that they can do at the minute to answer it. I mean, one of my major concerns wasn't just kind of the draft, but I felt like, at least to me, LR's playstyle, very telegraphed, right? Yes, again, just, I guess the start of the draft point, typically very reactive drafts, right? And I think this is one of the few times where you can see, you know, multiple components of a composition which can move forward and can be very aggressive. But beyond that, normally, you know, the playstyle is kind of just let Baus do his thing, focus on trying to get some leads in the bottom side. Venomcrest have effectively hamstringed the Baus from the get-go, just via the draft, and have centered the game plan entirely around trying to deny Crowny as many resources as possible. And I mean, minus the execution, you know, unfortunately handing over a couple of those kills, going to plan, right, so far.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. And then, like, the other side of that, right, is that, look, part of the idea about the meme draft of take all of Baus' champions away is I don't think this is necessarily a meme draft. Like, Venomcrest have managed to get a solid game plan with the champion takeaways as well, and that makes it all the more potent. There's not exactly anything like a gold lead right now. In fact, Lost Ratones right now doing really well to get themselves a slight gold lead, though I don't think it's going to be enough to carry a game as yet. But if they can pick up things like the early dragon here, as we are, as you may know, on the new improved Ionian Rift, slight change in scenery here, so differences in terms of the number of grubs and stuff spawning, and our objective time is slightly. But LR, despite the weirdness, not completely falling apart or anything here.
Yeah, far from. Whilst it has been a very volatile 6 minutes of League of Legends.
Yes, it has.
The game is far from over for either team. And as you kind of highlighted, actually, it's the nature of this very bulky... Oh, wow. Okay. Wendell could be in trouble.
Flashes away,
Ooh.
does have a little bit of space, and there's the Gragas throwing out that very explosive cask. Maybe don't invite him to parties. I don't think that's a particularly good one for weddings, guys. Pick something a little bit easier to drink. As Nemesis in the mid lane, though, up 2 levels right now against this Sion. Just doing exceptionally well, quietly up, nearly 30 CS. LR, though, flashing over the wall with this volley bet, looking to trade down the river. I think this is going to be an absolute catastrophe for Venomcrest. The anti-venom well and truly in. All the while, of course, Baus is there as well. They pick up another set of kills.
Yeah, Baus managed to find his way towards this bottom side as well, just on a good reset timer. Decides to make the roam happen, and it's actually very funny you mentioned, you know, the new patch. I was about to start talking about the fact that, you know, this dragon, we're not necessarily always seeing teams prior dragon super early. It just kind of was an option here for Velia. But the lane swaps are kind of gone, right? We don't tend to really see teams swap after 4 or 5 minutes anymore. Even to get out of bad matchups, it's kind of just a, hey, grub spawn's so late, we can't afford to swap anymore. It kind of bungs things up a bit too much if we don't have good tempo for it. But here, LR using Bounce's good reset timer there to kind of free up Crowny and Reckless now to be up here first, at the very least, on this wave.
Yeah, I think that's a really wise point. This Baus might end up getting caught out by this counter-strike here. There's the Grandmaster's might as well. Doxy absolutely just fails to flash. He gets misread on that one. And Baus escapes flash for flash.
Yeah, you can't really fault Doxy for thinking that Baus is going to flash that way. It was the last seed movement, but that's the thing with Baus. His brain doesn't work like the rest of us. He's going to do things that you're not going to expect. Now Crowny is in.
Killer Instinct forwards. Wendell knocked up there with the grand entrance. Let's get a decent knock away though. Does Gooby helps defend things. The curtains get called. That's Velia jumping out of the way, but it's leaving Reckless and Crowny in a difficult spot. Doxy's TP'd in. Stun onto that volley bear. And he might be pierced with a few thousand swords in that skin. Wants a giant stone statue fist to the face afterwards as well. It's the Scion that picks up the kill. Grubs have just spawned. There are only 3 now on the current patch. And Venomcrest will be claiming them, courtesy of that kill on the jungler.
Yeah, they have been buffed though. And change the numbers around, so getting 3 is still a very big deal. Whilst you don't see the double mites anymore, off the top of my head, the actual burn damage, the ability to just shred through towers, is significantly more powerful. Or at least it certainly feels that way whenever you see teams with 3 grubs on this patch. As another play on the top side, Kubi's flash under the tower as well.
Maiko, Crowdy dies, gets picked up by Kobe. Former LEC AD carries fighting off against each other. Baus TPing in, Vault Breakers misses it. Wendell will go Justice punching forwards, does get traded. Gooby now in a 1v3 though, will likely fall. We'll get at least a decent belly slam forwards. But not enough damage there to really claim anything. I'll say double kill onto Baus with a solid TP. Niter will at least claim a plate or so bot side, looking to do to Baus what he's done to so many other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a complete bloodbath. We're 12 kills deep,
Yes,
10 minutes in. And if this is the cadence of this series, I'm here for it. I'm so ready, bro. We'll see how many kills we're able to rack up in this one. But one thing that is undeniable, kills aside as well, is that LR have still managed to etch out an overall gold lead in this game, 1.5k. Practically, all of it sits in Baus's back pocket.
Oh my days, yeah, it does.
So we'll see how he's able to utilize that lead. I'm sure Oxy's not going to have the most fun of times without a Triforce into this Eclipse of Eye as far as the trades are concerned for the immediate future. But if Baus isn't able to get involved, right, without TP, without good, reset timers, maybe Venomcrest can find some positives in the 4v4, because that is where the rest of the game is still needed.
Was keeping an eye quietly on Nemesis as well, who is doing what Nemesis tends to do, which is farm incredibly efficiently, still leading against that Sion very happily. Crowny gets shot to the wall, double body slam will cleanse back on out, but in comes that Sion a little bit too little to save the jungler as the team comes flying on forwards, gonna curl the curtains, or call the curtains, I flip my vowels around. Regardless, Volibear gets a double, and Venomcrest overplay in the river, lost Ratones way faster to respond.
Yeah, that they are. They pick up 2 more kills for themselves, and this is the small issue with this Venomcrest composition. It's issue is not necessarily the correct word, but something they're going to have to deal with. As we might hold
Bouse.
this thought as Bouse.
Was being charged. I got wondered there. Hang on. Over comes Gooby. Bouse now endangers the Blasco, and I think he could well be dead here. Does Gooby have enough range with a body slam to get over? What's the cooldown on? Gonna go looking for him as Bouse. I think he might just get away with
decides
this.
to turn around, you know, like again, Bouse's brain doesn't work like the rest of us. He's a little bit too smart for us at times. Such an unorthodox fella. So fun to watch. But yeah, is able to evade shenanigans. Because, I mean, in fairness, who's ever going to walk back there? Los Ratones, whilst those shenanigans were going on post that big body fight in the river, did pick up that second dragon in the game.
They did.
And we are going to get Mountain Soul on this rift. So, very, very impactful, honestly, for both of these teams, with the amount of melee champions in the game. And just frontliners as well, if you want to. I mean, to me, Swain might as well be a melee champ, how he plays with his ult up. Very big deal, getting those resistances in. So, Venomcrest would love to try and get a couple of those dragons before a soul is on offer. As early as 10 minutes away.
You've got Bouse, right? He's going damage on the Vine. No tanky stats, no bruiser stats. But now he's got Mountain Soul. Does he need to, right? He's going to get them from just having a Mountain Soul shield. It's fine.
Well,
the dive under the turret, though, maybe less fine. Does get out of the shield of Duran. We'll cease and desist to buy some time. Gooby now in danger. The Eclipse shield and the Blast shield combined is good. Over comes Reckless, and they all go down with the quickness. In comes the hero's entrance, but it might have to be a very swift exit as well. Wendell flashing away, gonna get a bit of speed of the Vault Breaker lands. There's the taunt, but Bouse has such a huge shield at this point between the Eclipse and that E passive. Will now back away. Kobe in the mid lane, Bobby in the mid lane rather, might be being Kobe'd as he will need to run towards somewhere that is not being dunked by Velia. Welcome to basketball, my friend. Remove the B and ends up turning into a basketball.
Yeah, not ideal for Venomcrest to say the least, and it's just really well played by Bouse on the dive. I'd love a replay if we are allowed to get one, given the state of what's going on our screens right now.
No, absolutely not. Look at the violence commencing, Doxy. We might just be able to clear the way.
Oh!
Here it goes too deep. It's a storm surge. I don't even know where to begin, Adrian.
Yeah, I'm here for the craziness, man. I mean, at the end of the day, Los Ratones still feel pretty okay with the overall gold swing here. Ruby did smite this, but he is 2 levels down.
Yeah, he needs to body slam away. Velia does have the Stormbringer, but doesn't want to turn off the tier 2 turret. That might be a little bit bold. Doxy is TP back in, does actually have a Trinity Force now, which is an important completion. Reckless and Crowny running away, and Doxy will hop back towards the way with the Leap Strike and should pick up the majority of those minions. I think we're going to try and just do a little bit of a... Are we even going to get a chance? I was about to say, can we take stock and see where we're at in the game? But
no.
Bouse at this point with nearly fully stacked Cull, 10 more CS to claim on that one, and an additional Phage on top of the Eclipse is absolutely brutalizing the Scion right now, who has started with a Hollow Radiant, so has no discernible resists into a Vi with all of that raw AD damage, and it's having a really unfun time top.
Yeah, we'll get better, obviously, with time, and one of the nice things about Scion is he's very a low economy champion. As long as he's able to actually get last hits over time to stack up the Soul Furnace, he gets so much extra HP that all he really needs is just flat resists, right? Out of items, eventually. So he could even just rush towards something like Frozen Heart if he really needs the armor. I mean, he's got Warden's Mail, so that could be what his second item ends up being. Reckless could engage here, potentially.
Bounce went looking, won't find the season until just now, but Gooby then gets absolutely annihilated. As does Wendell. Not that tanky as a support on the Gallia. The statue looks a mite bit smaller than he does in the mid lane.
Yeah, that he does. Always a thing. You get Galio outside of those solo lanes. Nowhere near as tanky. As the gold lead continues to extend itself. And whilst in the early stages of this game, Gooby honestly was not only kind of getting the better of Velia just because of the game plan, but also an overall level, right? You think about that bot side play. Gooby was able to show up with the cask available whilst Velia was still level 5. Velia has just been farming up an absolute storm since then, and he is now 2 real levels above
That's insane.
Gooby, which I can't recall how many times you even see that in the jungle this early on as Doxy. Gonna force Nemesis's ult.
2-level advantage for Nemesis as well, though. There's a hero's entrance coming on in, but that's not going to hit onto Nemesis yet. We'll step on forwards, looking for the shield of Durandorn. Does, but overcome Crowdy, who's done a decent job of counter-striking that for a second as Doxy, but it's still not enough. The cast comes down, and it's just a triple to the Swain. Ravens for breakfast.
Goodness me. I mean, we kind of panned away for a moment, but there was a clean disengage for a second. Is this going to be the tower dive for earlier? No, it's just this one. All right, I was just making sure. I mean, so when Wendell comes down, I think there's a clear window where they could just back off and let Nemesis's ult drop away. I mean, I understand why you kind of want to maybe end this play a little bit quickly, because you can see the members of Los Ratones rotating down, but what it equals is Nemesis holds onto his ult, Crowny's able to get involved, and I think Crowny got 1 kill credit there. It was actually Nemesis getting a double, unfortunately not that triple. But either way, like, you don't care. You're getting the gold.
It made for the better call, you know?
It made for the better call. Exactly. Exactly. But now this is turning into a, I'm going to say, untenable situation for Venomcrest, but one that's going to start feeling like it real soon because of the gold difference at the top of your screen.
8,000! Near enough at this point. Gooby's in danger. Oh, come Nemesis! He's got a demonic ascension! And he'll drag them straight down to hell. Wendell is going to die, as well as Niter, who turns into a zombie, but I don't think a brief second life will turn around the damage that's coming on over. That is Nemesis suddenly with a 10-stack Dark Seal. He's already got 2 items. That gold lead is obscenely large now.
Okay. Remember that part 30 seconds ago where I said the game wasn't quite untenable? So,
yeah, I do.
Every now and again, you know, kids sit down on the sofa. Father's about to teach you a life lesson. People can lie to you at any given moment in time, and it's just something that people can do for free. And this is unfortunately one of those circumstances. Crowdy has no sunspot and ult. Maybe he can kite out, but he's got the rest of his team with him.
Oh, no. Well, Jamada is spreading misinformation on the internet, and Los Ratones are spreading misery to wherever Venomcrest may hold court. Bao steps on forwards, does not get hit by the counter-strike. It's the wrong video game. Should be playing League of Legends. Headshots mean nothing here. And they back away. Having claimed an additional kill, the Los Ratones have 20 kills in sub 19 minutes. They've got Mountain Soul in 3. This game could not have gone better for them after the early madness that was the draft and tower dive.
Yeah, now, okay, I'm going to put a lot of faith here. Well, it's not really a lot of faith given their track record, but I'm just going to assume that this game's done. All right, we're looking into the future. I know we're only 90 minutes in, but I'll be honest, guys. If Los Ratones managed to screw this up, it would actually be a first. Like, I can't recall a game where Los Ratones were this far ahead. Anywhere near this far ahead. I'm not going to say this far ahead.
Like early, especially, because they've normally come really into their true colors in the mid game around the team fights with the split pushing and stuff. The early game has sometimes been the part where we've gone, that's not always gone right.
Yeah. Now, I do have to commend Venomcrest prep for this game. And, you know, assumedly for this series, is Doxy's on an angle.
Can they blow up the Rakan before he gets to flash on out? No,
he's out.
They cannot. He gets to run away. F1 driver Reckless changing into a very different code of competition. Finds his way out. Doxy now splitting away. And I think Baus might just be doxing him with the power of death. Black Cleaver now completed for the Vi. 6, 1, and 5. Everywhere you look, there is at least a 2,000 gold lead for Los Ratones, with the exception of support. And even that's 1.2. It is a brutalization, Jamada. I don't know how else to put it.
Exactly. And whilst I think it's going to be very easy in retrospect to sort off this game as a funny ha-ha, hee-hee moment, what does happen for the rest of the series, draft-wise, is now going to, be the next biggest question. Venomcrest's approach to this game wasn't bad at all. The execution just fell a little bit short, and in some of those key moments, unfortunately, individuals, Gooby's dead. Baus is probably going to die. Maybe.
No, he's not. He doesn't even have any. Does he have mana for Q? I'm not sure he does, but he just gets to walk really fast, and he's got Swifties, so he's fine.
Let's take a look at this play. I mean, Doxy's on a really, really good flank angle, but the problem is, with the support item Reckless has, he's just so tanky up front for the first couple of seconds. And then at that point, Velia and Crowny are able to collapse in from the bottom side of the map, and Los Ratones wholeheartedly win that one. But the rest of the series is still going to be, to me at least, a little bit up in the air. Were it not for, some heroics on a couple of dives from, Crowny, Reckless, and Baus specifically.
Yeah.
At very key timers. I think this game could have gone a lot differently. It could have been a lot more competitive. But again, Los Ratones, it's always the thing. If you don't really put them in a, oh man, super big deficit, they're going to outhand you. If it's not macro in the mid game. And
Yeah.
oh, Gooby. What he slammed into
I
the
saw
wall.
that.
Yeah.
That's awkward. That's someone who's not played as much Gragas as maybe.
Well, that was a bit
And
weird. You
It
can,
is
like,
a bit.
Yeah. Well, I think he tried to do Reckless? No.
It's the same deal again. Celestial opposition tankiness. It's going to give Crowny an opportunity to kill her instinct out of the back of the wall. And when it hit Cathian Reigns, it pours. Velia is godlike. And they will continue to prove that opposition is futile right now. Los Ratones got one final member to claim under the tier 2. They are definitely thinking of going for it. Velia will begin to put down the thundering smam. Looks to bring in the Stormbringer. And will bring down the ace for themselves. 22 stacks on the Medjai's for Nemesis. Base broken wide open. It's not even 23 minutes on the clock, and they will be shattering the base. They might even look to just end it, depending on how confident they're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 5 members here. Wendell's the only one up. Gooby can maybe do a little bit of work to clear the wave, but no.
Oh my
He's
god.
gone.
The little bit of work was about a second before he got exploded. And everyone else is being exploded too. They're going to root onto Crowny, but he's being shielded by the rest of the squad. Nexus turret number 1 falls. And Venomcrest try for the clever draft, the tricky draft, the one that steals Baus's champions away. They go for the early dive, the prep is there. And the execution, well, it was a guillotine in the hands of Los Ratones. They play with their food at the end of the day. But despite the weirdness in the draft, despite the plans, they mean nothing in the face of Los Ratones' golden hands. They claim gold game 1. Gold 1, I think they're slightly better than that one, I suspect.